Please
subscribe.
For the love of God!
Hi, my name is Maddie, and I am on a journey of weight loss and financial wellness after last year when I had a baby. Am I wearing an Ayuga top, workout top as pajamas? Yes, I am. Mind your business. But we are here to talk finances. I have my creatine. I have my notes on my spreadsheet on my phone. I have cute 4th of July nails, although you will be seeing this in like August. Apologies. But we are ready to chit chat about money and my lack of it. So if you're new to this is the series where I talk about our journey to get out of debt. Now, I guess not fully out of debt because we do have my student loan and my husband's car loan. We are unfortunately not getting out of those debts anytime soon. I do have more on my student loan later in the video. However, we are attempting to get out of credit card, medical, regular loan, my husband's student loan debt, and we're hoping to get out of that. Honestly, it's possible we could get out of all of it in 2026. We are on track to, but either way, I want to get out of as much debt as possible. And then step 2 would be to save for a down payment on a house and to finally stop renting. Can we do it? If we do it, it's in spite of a lot of things, I'll tell you that. And so my husband and I make below the median household amount in Missouri. We are below average. We are very much a middle class family. We are a family of 3. Really, we're a family of 6. We're a family of me, my husband, our infant son, who is about a year old, as well as our 3 no good cats. I'm just kidding. They're fine. Most of them. Either way, we bring in about $4,800 a month. As well as I do bring in some YouTube money, although I don't really talk about that as much in these debt videos, just because they're usually long enough. And then my husband does donate plasma, and we use that to kind of pay toward his car. So while this is a 6-month check-in in terms of debt, it's also like a June recap video, but this will be divided into sections. So if there's things you're not as interested in, just skip ahead. It's all good. So one of the things that I mentioned, we actually had a lot of things changing in June. One of the things I mentioned was that we would be changing daycares with our son. Our old daycare was quite far, and while I do have a flex savings account that pays for most of it, the gas was just ridiculous. It was very far, it was very time consuming, and yeah, it just wasn't great. And it wasn't our favorite fit either. It was the first daycare my son's ever been in, so we weren't really sure what to expect. However, we've moved him to a new daycare that is much closer, and it has been a lot better of a fit. But it is $120 more expensive per month. So I was curious to see how that would work out with gas. Now, gas has gotten cheaper in the States and in my area in June, so that does play a factor in it. However, in the month of May, we spent $283 on gas. But for June, because this is a June check-in, we spent $171.77. So that offsets some of that expense with daycare. So we love it. That's amazing. That's great. And then in terms of groceries, we spent $930.91. Now, we are a family of 3. That is more than we normally spend on groceries, though. Usually it's in the 800s, and even that just seems like an astronomical amount. And one of the things I mentioned in my May debt check-in video was that we had 2 pain points when it comes to groceries. Probably more than that, but 2 really obvious ones. The first one is that my husband is not a coffee drinker, really. The most coffee he'll drink is he'll go to Starbucks and get a mocha choco frap of bullshit. And so he's a big energy drinker, and they are quite expensive. I myself like an energy drink now and then, but I do actually drink drip coffee, and I drink cheaper coffee, and I don't drink it every day of the week. My husband was. And so in the month of May, we spent $70 on energy drinks. And so that was pain point number one. And pain point number two is my fault, which is that I am a big fan of protein related things like Quest chips, the Fairlife protein drinks, and so in May, when I noticed that we were spending a lot of money on these things, I basically made the decision that I don't want to cut them out. And this is something I should have said at the beginning of like my intro, introducing myself, is that while we are getting out of debt, this is not Dave Ramsey. We are still living our lives. We went on vacation in July. We hosted my baby boy's birthday party. Granted, we did host, we made all the food, and we did not really buy decor because he literally turned a year old. He does not care. All right, I don't quite know where I was going with that, but I still do want to get that spending in check because like we're literally paying to consume things. So I went to Sam's, and part of the reason, actually $60 of that $930 grocery bill was me going to Sam's and buying things for July and, well, August. Fairlife had a sale. It was like $20 for a case when normally it's like 26 and some change. So best believe I got July and I got August's supply. And I was very tempted to get September's, but I didn't. So I will allot for one case. That's 12 Fairlifes. That would be 3 a week. Very reasonable for me. I don't drink them every day. They are delicious though. They are the best. They're the only protein drink that doesn't give me a stomach ache. I also bought one 4-pack of Quest chips so I can have Quest chips once a week. And then at Sam's, I found a really amazing deal for the Alanis that we drink. Now, I'm a big believer in like, if you can save money, buy it in bulk. And when it comes to Alani and Red Bull, we do like Red Bull as well. Buying it in bulk saves you so much money. In addition to that, I did find some alternatives for Henry. So they make, Mios is like the name brand, but I literally got the Great Value where you can get stuff to squeeze in your water that is caffeinated. So I got that. I also got the Dunkin' refreshers, and literally it's like $8 for like a 30-pack. So yeah, is that some money? Sure, but it's way cheaper than energy drinks. So I'm really proud of what we were able to do in terms of those pain points. But I think the reason, other than, buying ahead and, enjoying sales, one of the reasons that our grocery bill was a little more expensive was because we ate out minimally in June. But for me personally, it's a little easier to eat out minimally when you are taking a GLP-1, aka a compounded tirzepatide. I personally get mine from Gobi Meds, and I do have an affiliate link with them. You can get $25 off your order. I'm so sorry I sound like a shill, but here we are. But I just wanted to let you know. However, the reason truly that we ate out much less was because I mentioned in my May video that my niece was coming to town. My niece lives out of state, and I so rarely get to actually spend time with her. And so she actually is visiting. She visited for pretty much the whole month of June, and then she's visiting for like half the month of July. And so I basically sat my husband down and was like, look, I really want to show her a good time, because she lives kind of in the middle of nowhere where she lives. I don't want to say too much. I might have said in the May video, but it's fine. But she really lives kind of in the middle of nowhere. And, I actually live near like cool things and things to do and things that she doesn't ever get to experience. And so I basically sat my husband down and was like, hey, I really want to be better and not go out to eat as much as usual this month because I want some of the money that we would normally be spending at restaurants to go toward hosting my niece. Now, typically in a given month, we have a budget of $320 for going out to eat. I have been told that that is high. However, my logic is this: $60 a week, so that's enough to go to a sit-down restaurant, although nowadays it's really not. But generally it's enough to go to a sit-down restaurant, plus $20 for like a coffee or a sweet treat trip. And so that's $80 a week total, adding up to $320. So this month, I am very proud to say that we spent $245.69. Nice. But seriously, that actually includes my birthday, which was in June. We did have a birthday breakfast, which was a lot of fun. As well as we booked a July date and went to see some fireworks and like paid a pretty penny to go to like a really nice place, like a really nice like barbecue picnic with fireworks, kind of like a more exclusive thing. And we haven't gone on like really like nice dates in a while just because we have an infant and everything. Also, he goes to bed really early, so, you know, we have to have someone come to the house. It's a whole thing. Parents, you get it. So that actually includes a July date as well as my birthday. So I'm really proud because that July date was $70. So in June total, really, we spent like $180. Regardless, Jesus, I don't know how much you guys care about the specifics of this. I will say really quickly, the ways that we were able to get our restaurant spending down was, number one, we just went out to eat a lot less. Like pretty much after my birthday, like we didn't go out to eat for like 2 weeks. There was one day that my husband was like, I really want Mexican food. And I said, would you like me to make Mexican food at home? And he was like, yeah, that would hit. And so I made that and he quite enjoyed it. So we didn't actually go to any sit-down restaurants, and we're bougie. We like sit-down restaurants. And then I can tell the economy's doing bad because a bunch of restaurants that don't normally do deals are doing deals right now where it's like, you know, get like Jimmy John's is doing like get a sandwich and a drink and some chips for $8.99. Sonic's doing something similar. So like, I really made sure to take advantage of the deals. And then I can't lie, my birthday being in June really helped because I got a bunch of birthday freebies. I'm not going to go through them, but I will be putting B-roll over this right now if you want to see some of the birthday freebies I got. I did not eat this all on my birthday, nor did I eat this all in general. It was shared food. But I did take advantage of my birthday deals. And we went to get coffee one time, whereas normally it's like a weekly thing. So there's that. And then in terms of my niece, who I mentioned earlier that she was visiting, I budgeted $150 in the month of June to kind of show her around, take her around, etc. And I wasn't sure if that would be enough, but it turns out it was enough because I spent $122.48 on my niece. We were able to do some really fun stuff, and we were able to do some affordable stuff and some free stuff, like go to the library. She really likes our library here in town. Okay, and then the last thing, I did do, like, admittedly, like, too much shopping in the month of June. And I'm not going to go through everything individually. I will put some things on the screen, but I spent about $150. Now, I will say the Prime Day deals happened. And so some of this stuff we definitely needed / could use, but some of it, I mean, definitely not. I'm just saying. I will say, I know this video is so freaking long, and again, you can skip around to sections, but I actually, you know, I've mentioned numerous times that my birthday was in June, and I actually was set to hang out with a friend that day. Now, it just so happened we were both free that day. It wasn't like we were hanging out because it was my birthday. However, she showed up bearing gifts, and I was very upset because I am an equal opportunist, and her birthday was literally earlier this year, and I didn't get her anything. I'm very much like a Sheldon Cooper in that aspect.
I know you think you're being generous, but the foundation of gift giving is reciprocity. You haven't given me a gift. You've given me an obligation.
It's okay, you don't have to get me anything in return.
Of course I do. The essence of the custom is that I now have to go out and purchase for you a gift of commensurate value and representing the same perceived level of friendship as that represented by the gift you've given me.
No. I honestly, like, low-key think it's rude if, like, I get someone a gift and they don't get me a gift. Like, you know, if it's unexpected, sure, but, like, generally speaking, I don't know. I just have strong opinions about that. Don't judge me. Regardless, I put my money where my mouth is, but we did go to this art place when we were hanging out on my birthday. And, you know, there was a bunch of vendors there and whatnot, and I was keeping my peepers peeled for things for her. But at one point, we went to this glass blown place where, like, there was just a bunch of art made of glass, and all of it was actually, like, it was like a little too expensive, but it wasn't like astronomical, like hundreds of dollars. And so she started looking around. She kept looking at the pricing on everything because it was just a really cool little booth. and she finally found this, it's one of those steaks that you can put in your yard, and it was like a pretty blue mushroom. And she turned it over, and it was a very reasonable $14. And she held it up like a trident, triumphantly, like, yes. And I yoinked that shit and was like, thank you. And she fully like short-circuited, like, and she was very triggered. She was like, I didn't hold that up for you to buy it for me. I'm like, it's too late. So I bought that for her, and I bought her another thing. So I spent about $20 on my birthday for my friend's past birthday, where I neglected her unknowingly. She says she didn't see it that way, but I see it that way. I also have some other friends that came to visit for my baby boy's birthday, and we pretty much always do like birthday/Christmas gift exchange. This time it would be birthday, whenever we see each other. So even though their birthdays have either passed or will be coming up soon, they sent me some birthday gifts, so I got them birthday gifts. And then a YouTuber I follow by the name of Jasmine Flowers is having a baby. So I did buy a $25 something off her registry. And if anybody's ever like, well, Maddie, like, that's not necessary. You're trying to pay off debt, blah, 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 blah. Listen, I put my registry when I had my baby on YouTube, and so many of my kind subscribers came through. So like, if I'm following someone that's pregnant, I'm going to buy something on their registry, because like so many people paid it forward to me. I'm going to pay it forward to them. So I did buy a little something. And then there are two things, and I'm only bringing them up because I do vlog regularly, but basically I spent $0 on them because I sold things to get them and ended up being a net neutral. One of which was I sold my old desk for a standing desk, and I found a very reasonable standing desk for $40. And then the other thing was that I sold my walking pad, and I used the money from that to get a toaster oven, because back in April I had an Old Faithful toaster oven, and I still miss it. And it broke, and with it, my heart broke. And I found a toaster oven on Marketplace that was in very good condition, $200 brand new. Actually, low-key, I don't think the guy wanted to sell it to me. He listed it for $25, but he rescheduled like 3 times, and I really wanted it, so I just rolled with it, even though I was secretly a little annoyed. And then when we finally met to do the exchange, he told me like 3 times, you're getting a really good deal on this. I need you to know you're getting a really good deal on this. And I just, like, at the time I laughed it off, but later I was thinking about it and I was a little annoyed, because I'm like, dude, you set the price, not me. So I don't know, but either way, I got a new toaster oven. I only mention that because if these things show up in vlogs, I never want people to be like, Maddie, I watch your debt videos and you never said you bought that, and da da da. You know, I just want to be transparent fully. So last but not least, we're going to talk about the debt that we paid. However, I cannot talk about that without talking about something crazy that happened. And I did film in the moment when it happened, and I rambled for a bit, and I'm sorry. This video is just going to be hella long, and I've just accepted that. So let's jet on over to past,
And
Maddie.
I really don't judge the car. It's daytime. My son is taking a nap. I don't want to disturb him. However, I wanted to do this check-in like now in the moment, because I am so overwhelmingly touched. Like, I can't. So this month I have been the recipient of just like some really generous people, and I want to like talk about it and shout them out. I also, when I talk about these debt videos, like, I'm like very clear, like, this is my hard work. This is where me and my husband's money is coming from, where it's going. However, you know, it would be disingenuous to be like, you know, and not tell you guys that I had some subscribers like randomly come in this month and help with some things. So I just want to talk about it. So first and foremost is a subscriber I have named Lauren, and she did give me permission to share her name. And Lauren, I've actually mentioned Lauren on my channel before, that I got from you guys. So this is my chance to tell you that if you did buy something from the registry, I'm very grateful. I'm so appreciative. I did send out some thank you cards, but Amazon did not show me everyone's address. In fact, there's someone named Lauren who I'm calling out specifically, who is very generous. I may or may not have cried, but Amazon, it just said no address given. But thank you, Lauren, wherever you are. And I was already like overwhelmed by you guys' kindness back then. I'm sorry, I don't mean to get emotional. I'm emotional about all of it because, like, you know, I don't have a very big family, and I love my husband's family, but they shopped very much off registry. I had to donate a bunch of stuff that they gave me, which I know sounds really ungrateful, but literally I had like 5 different thermometer sets. Like, we don't need that. So I did donate them to some other mothers in a parenting group that I'm in my city. But you know, they do get us things, but they just don't shop with the registry. So the result is having like multiple sets of the same thing, which we don't need. So the fact that like my subscribers came in and they were like, you know, we want to get you things and help you with your baby, like that already means a lot to me. But this girl, Lauren, I was not prepared. She literally, I mean, I kid you not, probably like $400, like before my baby was even born. She got us the recliner that was in his nursery and just like several other things off the registry. So then a little while back, out of the blue, she bought something else off the baby registry, and she sent me a message on Instagram and was like, hey, the tracking's being a little bit weird, and basically I just wanted to make sure you got it. And I never know what to say when anyone gets me anything, even if it's for my birthday. I'm like, or like an occasion in which someone should be getting things. They should. And so I was like, thank you so much, that's so sweet. Like, I didn't know what to say. And so I've had people ask me, what does your baby want for his birthday? And rather than answer that question 100 times, I started putting together like a first birthday registry. I haven't shared it on my YouTube because I just did not have any intention of doing so. But the buttons on Amazon to add to the birthday registry and the baby registry are right next to each other. I started adding things to the baby registry without meaning to, genuinely a mistake. And I started getting emails like, hey, someone bought from your registry. And I was like, oh, sweet, someone's buying for the birthday. And I'm like, but who would? Because it's mainly my husband's family that's coming to the birthday. And I know that most of them don't. But I do have other people that do. So I finally looked, and it was my girl, Lauren. I mean, she's not my girl. We don't actually know each other. And so I had registered for some like foam toys for little man to climb on, and they're really expensive. I don't know why they're so expensive. They're basically like couch cushions, but with fun shapes. And so she contributed $100 toward that. And I was like, girl, thank you so much. And she's done so much more than that. Like, I could go on and on and on. And I was like, girl, thank you so much. Like, that means a lot. You know, like, I will always be beyond touched. Well, then I got another notification. Hey, someone contributed to something on your baby registry. She also got like, I'm going to put on the screen what all she got. But I got another email that was like, hey, someone contributed to your baby registry. I'm like, there shouldn't be anything else on there. Like, I think I moved everything. Well, she contributed to a high chair that we ended up not needing. We had a family member give us one. And so I messaged her and I was like, hey girl, like, you know, like, again, I'm always so touched. I'm like, we have a high chair, but I'm going to use it to buy a cloth diaper sprayer shield thing, because I kid you not, we were being very cheap and we refused to spend $30 for it. And I swear to God, our lives are much better for just getting the actual freaking sprayer shield. We like, I'm not even going to show you guys because it's gross, but like, we had like carved out a trash can and we're just using that and some binder clips, and it would work out like maybe like 30% of the time, and then other times we had like a mess to clean up. We were being stubborn. Even Henry, I'm notoriously cheap, and Henry kind of gets on me like, you need these things, like, you're literally, this thing, we need to replace it, it's falling apart. I'm like, no, it's still usable. He's like, we either need to fix it or we need to replace it. I'm like, no, it's fine, I don't want to spend the money. And even Henry was like, it's ridiculous that this thing costs $30, and like was with me. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't mean to prattle on, but I did let Lauren know. I was like, we already have this, but I used it to get that and a shower caddy, and like, she literally contributed, I mean, I kid you not, total like $260 plus the things that I showed on the screen. And then not to mention the stuff before my baby was even born. And I messaged her on Instagram I message her every time on Instagram to tell her thank you. And she was like, well, you just worry about the college fund and I'll worry about the toys, which is so sweet. I'm like, I'm not. I'm sorry. It's okay. So that was all about Lauren. And now something else happened this month. So I had somebody reach out, and I will not say their name. They requested to remain anonymous. So I'm just going to call them Anon. And I got an email in my business email that said, I would like to help. And in parentheses, it said not spam. Now, as I've said, anytime anyone is like, hey, can I do anything for you? I always say no. However, she caught me on a week. She caught me the week that my job laid off, like, they laid off 75 people and then they eliminated 75 vacant jobs. And I knew people that got laid off. And I didn't know, no one knew what was going on. We just knew people were being laid off. Like, it was sort of like, I joked, because sometimes you joke to cope, that scene in Breaking Bad where, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or if YouTube's going to be like, girl, you can't say that. Where Walt had to take out all of the prisoners and like these like people that could narc on him, and he had to do it in quick succession. I kid you not, these people like were all visited by someone from HR at the same time and being laid off like within a few hours of each other. And so when this person reached out to me, that was happening, and I had no idea who they were laying off, and I had no idea if it was going to be me. I was also very worried about my husband. We do work for the same company, and he is much newer. I've been with the company for many years, and it's a company that should have a lot of job security. I could rant and rave, and I have talked about it some. But I was very worried about my husband because he is the newest person, and you know what they say like last one in is the first one out. And I was like, what are we going to do if one of us loses our jobs? And so this person happened to catch me during that week, and they said, I would like to help, not spam. And they sent a very sweet email, and they're like, I've been where you are. You know, I've been watching you for a while. I saw your last debt video. I would like to help you. And so I thought, I'm like, okay, you know, that can get weird because maybe people suddenly start expecting things from you, or like, I don't know, they could get weird. You just never know. And so I was very clear. I was like, look, the only thing I can offer you is like gratitude, and like, here's my PayPal, or if you want to leave a super thanks on a video, because I have had people do that, and I'm always just so touched. And so I thought she was going to send like $25, $100. That would have meant so much. But y'all, she sent $1,800. And like, I mean, for me, that's like 2 paychecks. Like, I make $1,000 every time I get paid. Like, we have a lot of stuff that comes out of that, my paychecks. But like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so dramatic, but like, I'm like so shook by people's generosity. And I talked to Henry about it. I was like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't, like, maybe I should tell her, like, you know, no, that's too much, that's too sweet. And he was like, you know, if we had it that way, we would help people like that. He's like, we just don't have it that way. He's like, but you know, if we had money, we would do the same thing. So like, she said to say that she would stay anonymous, but thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you to Lauren. Like, I'm always, like, I know that those are big things, but like, I had people send like smaller things. You know, anytime you build any kind of registry or do anything, you put small and big things. Like, anytime anyone sends anything, I've gotten like a $10 super thanks, like, go buy yourself a bottle of wine, matey. Like, that always means so much to me. And I don't know, I'm just touched. There's no other way that I can put it. And I don't mean to cry. I know I'm being really dramatic, but like, that's just like, I mean, I'm just overwhelmed. I have no words. So thank you guys so much. Thank you to anyone. I mean, and I'm always a little nervous to share this kind of thing. Jesus Christ, I've been talking over 10 minutes. I'm always nervous to share this kind of thing because I don't want anyone to feel like, well, I have to give Maddie something, or I bet Maddie doesn't appreciate me because I've never given her anything. You watching this video means so much to me. The fact that people are like invested in my journey means so much to me. But like, I am overwhelmed by it, but in a good way. It makes my heart so many things. Okay, I don't have the words. Hopefully future Maddie will, but I just wanted to talk about it now while it's all fresh and fresh on my brain and fresh on my mind. So I love all of you guys. Let's get back to the other version of Maddie who's doing the full debt recap.
So I am so unbelievably touched, like you have no idea. I still get a little emotional thinking about just people's generosity. Shout out to the anonymous person and shout out to Lauren. Yep, I can't get emotional again. I'm fine. So let's get into our debt and I will tell you what I did with the money that Anon sent me. So at the beginning of the year, in order from least to greatest, our debts were a $260 credit card, an $864 student loan, a $1,920 hospital bill, and we paid all of those before June, took them all out. And then as of June 2026, we had $900 remaining on a $2,500 credit card, about $4,000, don't quote me, remaining on a loan that had $5,400 at the beginning of the year, and then a $4,300 credit card. So with the $1,800, one of the things that I did buy, non-debt related, but I mean, I was going to buy it anyway, was I actually bought a plane ticket. I will be taking a trip of sorts in January, and I looked at plane tickets, and shockingly, not that bad. It was $335 with traveler's insurance for a round trip ticket on MLK weekend. However, the other things I did was I paid off the remaining $900 of that credit card. And then the next thing I paid was actually toward the loan. Now, I've said in previous videos that we would pay the credit card next, the $4,000 credit card. However, that loan does cost us $380 a month. And so we agreed, because we plan on paying off both like post haste, that it would probably be better just to get rid of that freaking loan first. Because again, $380 a month coming out is nothing to sneeze at. So the reason I paid $1,140 is because that is 3 loan payments. So I paid 3 loan payments at once. And then we continue to just pay on the interest to maintain that credit card staying at $4,000. So we have gotten rid of debts 1 through 4. The remaining debt, the loan, has $2,622.44 on it. And like I said, the credit card still just has $4,000, which means we, and when I say we, I mean me, Henry, heck, some of this is YouTube money, and Anon, have paid $8,321.56 in the year of our Lord 2026. You know, when I say it that way, it does sound a little more impressive. I can't lie to you. It does. And I will say, originally, I did not think we would get to pay all 6 of these pieces of debt down. I thought we were going to pay the top 5. However, we are really going to try to pay them all so that 2027 can be focused on saving money for a house. I will say that I would have paid more aggressively toward our debt this month, but there were 2 things stopping me. Number 1, we are taking a vacation in July. Again, I keep forgetting you guys are seeing this in August. Took a vacation in July, so I didn't want to like spend every bit of our spare money and then end up having to use a credit card due to poor planning on our trip. So I did want some cushion there. We are staying with family. We've paid for our plane tickets. Like, there will definitely be like little things we'll have to pay for. Inevitably, especially because our baby is coming. So I'm sure there are things, last minute things that I'm not even thinking of that we're going to have to pay for. And I just want to have the money to do that. Number 2, I actually thought I'd be getting like some sponsorship money coming in. However, it is taking its sweet time to come in. So once I get that and we're back from vacation, you best believe in July we will be paying even more than that. But this is basically my first 6 months of a debt update. So yeah. And then last but not least, really quickly, I wanted to talk on my student loan situation. I have no idea if this is of interest to anyone, but I had a previous video where it was a Q&A and someone asked me, like, how do you stay motivated? And one of the things I said when I was rambling on, I know you're shocked, was that I persist despite the fact that, like, I feel like life continues to just come by and crush me like the little bug that I am. and that I'll never be able to afford a house and I'll never fully get out of debt because something always seems to happen. Well, that something has come, because despite making all this progress, the plan that I was on, where I basically did not pay anything in student loan debt, and I am on public student loan forgiveness, and I'm still on that, but the plan that I was on where I was paying basically nothing is gone. And so I will have to start paying toward my student loan debt, and according to their little calculator, it's going to be like a $300 bill a month. Now, I am in forbearance right now, and I'm going to stay in forbearance probably through the end of this year. I just want to finish. I can stay in until like late 2028, but I don't want to do that because I do want to like basically have my loans forgiven so I never have to worry about them again. But I want to pay down our debt completely, if at all possible, before we start doing that, so that we can still feel like we're making traction. So it really sucks. It definitely feels like a gut punch to, you know, basically feel like I'm making all this progress, and then suddenly this other thing that I wasn't even worried about just comes in and punches me in the face. But it is what it is. I know that this was a long one, so I appreciate you for watching. But that is all I have got for you guys. If you like this video, do all the usual things. Like, comment, and subscribe, because the YouTube wizards, they love that stuff for the growth of my channel. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me, and I hope that, you know, whatever goals you have, you're accomplishing them this year. I know it's late in the year, we're like in the third quarter, but you know what? It's not too late for a comeback. The third quarter is only just after halftime, to use sports analogies for some reason. Either way, all rambling aside, I hope you guys have a great day. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Bye.